The NFL draft is here, and we're looking at some realistic outcomes for the New England Patriots when it comes to building their offense. So, Evan, we're going to rank the top 3 quarterbacks, maybe 4 if you have more in mind that the Patriots could, again, realistically end up with, whether they trade up for them or stay put. What's your list looking like?
So let's start at the bottom and work our way up, okay? So number 4, I would put Kellen Mond from Texas A&M here at this spot. I think there's a lot of things that check Patriots boxes with Kellen Mond. 3-year starter in a Power 5 conference in the SEC West in particular, one of the toughest conferences to play college football in. Kellen Mond started 3 years there for the Aggies. He didn't have great tape, right? It's not wow tape. It's not Justin Fields. It's not Trevor Lawrence type tape, but it's consistently good tape at the SEC level. He has some mobility. He has some arm talent. I think we saw his arm talent come a little bit more at the Senior Bowl and at his pro day than maybe what we saw in his college tape. So there's some untapped potential there, I think, with this player. And last year at A&M, he had a couple of his receivers opt out. It wasn't the best supporting cast around him. So I think in the NFL, you hope a better supporting cast. Maybe you unlock his arm a little bit more. Maybe you let him run around a little bit more, and you can get a little bit more out of Kellen Mond than what we saw at Texas A&M. Good decision maker, understands how to read defenses, can stand in the pocket and make throws through a progression, comfortable in the pocket, moves around the pocket pretty well. I think there are some good things to like about Kellen Mond on day 2. Number 3, Kyle Trask from Florida, who had a great season last year for the Gators, Heisman Trophy finalist, over 40 touchdown passes. Now, we talk about this a lot with Mac Jones, Mariah. How much was that the supporting cast, right? You throw in a Kyle Pitts, you're throwing a Kadarius Toney. There are a bunch of underclassmen on Florida's offense as well that are going to get drafted in the next couple of years. At what point do you kind of put it on the supporting cast, and how much do you put on Trask? Now, with Trask, I think that he is somebody that within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage gets the ball out quickly, throws a nice rhythm ball, and gets the ball to catchable to his matchups, to his weapons, and lets them do it, right? Lets them do the heavy lifting. Pitts, Toney, those guys are the guys that are creating the big plays for them at Florida, but Trask didn't hold them back and didn't prevent that offense from being a very, very good offense in the SEC. So there are some things to like about Trask as well. He's not mobile. He doesn't have a huge arm, but there are some sort of Patriots pocket management type of stuff that you like with Kyle Trask and game management. And if you can sell yourself on your skill players being really good and your offensive line being really good, then you can sell yourself a little bit on Trask. But now we're going to get to the interesting ones, right? Now we're going to get to the fun ones. Number 2, Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Now, we talked a lot about Trey Lance, and I think the questions that you have with Lance are, is Bill Belichick going to be willing to bet the house on a 1-year starter from the FCS level, right? We're not talking about a guy that's had a ton of pass attempts in his career. We're not talking about a guy that's played a bunch of really good competition in a Power 5 conference or in a college football playoff. With all that being said, he was only 19 years old in 2019 and put together one of the best college tapes I've ever seen for a quarterback. Somebody that has a huge arm down the field, on the run, makes every single throw you could possibly imagine, and also has fantastic mobility and ball carrying skills. Now, the accuracy and the mechanics is inconsistent. That's what you're going to have to work out with him over the length of time. But can he be your Josh Allen, right? Can you fix those things once he gets to the pro level? That's what teams are going to sell themselves on with Trey Lance. And number 1, Justin Fields. Everybody in New England wants it. I want it. You want it. We all want to see Justin Fields as a quarterback for the Patriots. Really, he checks every single box that you could possibly want in a quarterback prospect. Somebody that ran in an NFL offense at Ohio State, full field progressions, coverage reads, the whole 9 yards, arm talent up the wazoo. He can make every throw, flick of the wrist, 60 yards down the field with pressure in his face, anything you could possibly want from inside the pocket. Over 90% of his throws coming from inside the pocket. Highest percentage of throws past his first read from inside the pocket. This is a player that did a lot of really good things at Ohio State, and he happens to run a 4.4 and is extremely athletic as well on top of all of those things. So Fields is still my number 1. He's been my number 1 this entire time. But I do think that the Patriots missed out on Fields. We're more likely in the Mond Trask conversation than the Trey Lance conversation. But maybe that's just the Patriots taking us all off their scent, and Trey Lance will end up being their guy.
Yeah, I mean, my only question. I think that it's everyone's question, really, because if you just look at the history of quarterbacks taken outside the first round,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
toss-up. And
It's
so
1 in a million for sure.
exactly. So with guys like Mond or Trask, it's like, are we getting ourselves in another Jarrett Stidham situation where he's just going to be on the roster, but he's never really used? What's the likelihood of any of these guys really playing in the upcoming season? Justin Fields, yeah, we can make an argument for him getting playing time in 2021. But what about the other three?
Right, that's a really good question. And I think with Mon and Trask, there is a little bit of Stidham there, right? There is a little bit of, do these guys have what it takes to actually be an NFL starter, or are we going to be flirting with them for 3 or 4 years as an NFL starter? And that's sort of where we're headed with Stidham, where we're going to hear all these offseason tropes about how he's working hard behind the scenes and how he's put together workouts in California with his teammates, and people love his offseason, right? That's the report out there with Jarrett Stidham. I could see that them drafting Kyle Trask and us hearing every year they loved the offseason, they loved his training camp, right? And it never really comes to fruition on the field. With Trey Lance, can he play as a rookie? I think it's not in his best interest to play as a rookie, at least not right away. Can he play later on in the season? Sure. And I think that Cam Newton is the perfect bridge to both Fields and Lance, right? If you want him to train somebody, if you want him to get somebody up to speed in terms of everything the Patriots do, everything it is about to be an NFL pro, to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, Cam Newton is a really good role model, and he's already been a mentor to Justin Fields in the past. So I think that would be a really strong connection with those two guys.
Yeah. All right. I guess we're just going to have to see what happens. We're so close. We'll know so soon, and we can put all of this to bed and then argue about more stuff later, but we'll see. For all of our Patriots coverage and our draft coverage, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel over at Patriots Press Pass.